Hey, what's up, guys? Your boy OG Black. Um, today's story, today's Saturday special, call it Saturday special for you guys, is a story about an Anthrax um, member. A lot of people don't talk about him. There's a song, a famous song by him. You could look it up. It's by Tito Torbellino. Um, you know, this guy. A lot of people requested it, but they don't know who we're talking about. They always say, "Oh, hey, give me an Anthrax," and nobody talks about. This guy's a really famous Anthrax. He was loved by all the bosses. Um, Story goes by my cousin. He told me that he worked with this guy a couple times, and he told me, my primo me dice, no, ese pinche viejo lo quieren todos. No ha conocido un güey que no lo quiere. Which means that this motherfucker's loved by all the bosses, that he never met one asshole who didn't like him. My cousin was a real important piece for a long time till he got murdered. But I won't get into that. Pedro Anthrax, or Pedro Valenzuela, was born in Durango in 1963. He died in Sinaloa in 2012. He was 49 years old. You know, OG Black tries to make sure you guys don't go into this life. I'm going to tell you a story about Pedro Anthrax Valenzuela that a lot of people don't know. Um, Pedro Anthrax saved Miles' kid one time. You know what I mean? And that looked really good in the old man's eyes. I never say the old man's name. I have a lot of respect for the Valenzuelas. A lot of people don't have a lot of respect for them. Sorry, my neck got all tight when I started talking about him. He was a very special man. This is a Saturday special. I usually don't talk about anybody. Anybody's like, oh, do you know an Anthrax? I don't know him. My cousin knew him. My cousin worked with him. This story I'm giving you is a second, third hand story from my cousin that he gave to me. OG Black has always had. Um, I'm nosy. I've always been nosy, I guess that's what I'm going to call it. I've always wondered, like, what goes around, why things work a certain way. I need to find out how the wheels work in things. Um, he was a very famous Anthrax. He was loved by all the bosses. He saved the boss's son. He died along two other guys, from my understanding. Um, my cousin died a little bit after he died. Um, Pedron, they called him Pedron. Pedron Anthrax, that's what they called him. Pedron Anthrax. You know, um, he was a really loyal guy to the family and to his structure. He wasn't the type to be afraid to tell you the truth of what was gonna happen with his cell. His cell of men were really well known around town everywhere. You know, he was set up. I'm not gonna get into too much, but he was set up. The reason why OG Black's not allowed to talk about too much about him, he's a very special and thought after person. You guys can ask your boy OG Shadow. Shout outs to my boy OG Shadow. How you doing, Shadow? How you guys doing out there in Culichi? I'm chilling, man. Trying to get this thing going, man. I got a story right here. I guess ain't nobody really heard about it. Pedro Anthrax. Look him up, you guys. He's got a corrido from Tito Torbellino. He was loved by all the bosses, man. Loved by all of them. There wasn't one motherfucker who didn't love him. You know, your boy OG Black doesn't want you guys to get into this life, man. But here's another example of what happens to him. He got killed. No matter that he was loved by every single mafioso in Mexico and loved on borders, both borders, in the U.S. and Mexico, he still met his demise. Still met his death. Still met the ultimate sacrifice, his life. Your boy OG Black doesn't want you guys to get into this life. He don't want you to get you guys in trouble. I don't want you guys to suffer like I did. I have. I lived 4, 5, 6 months without running water. I had to take a shower with a little bucket and water they were getting from a garrafon. That little sparklets fucking gallon thing that you drink water out of? Yeah, I was taking a shower with that shit. That's the only little bit of water I had. The mafioso life ain't that beautiful, guys. These guys don't live that big of a life, and they always end up dying. They end up in jail. They end up sick. You know what I mean? And this story was about an anthrax that nobody's heard of. And it's very famous in Culiacan and Culichi. Just not to the world. You guys in the UK and Australia, I hope you guys like this one. You guys in the US, hope you guys like this story OG Blacks bring you. Remember, this life only brings you three things: death, prison, and bad health. And he got the death. You know, he was young when he died. I think he died like when he was like 49 or some shit like that. Yeah, I think he was 49 when he died. You know, he wasn't even 50 years old. But he used to run amok and the ladies liked him, you know? And he used to have a saying, "Ay pa que digan, pa que no hablan, ay pa que hable la pinche gente, ay pa que digan, pinche gente lacrea," decía. Which he used to say, fucking people, so they can go talk, goddamn thieves, low lives. You know, I'm gonna start giving some despensas in Tijuana. I hope you guys are ready for that. I appreciate everything, all the donations. Um, you know what I mean? You guys know who's done your donations, man. I gave you guys a shout out already. I'll do it again, man. Mr. Faircloth, thank you very much. Pang1, thank you very much for the donations, man. They're appreciated. They're gonna go into a good cause to the despensas in Tijuana, to the kids that don't have anything. Remember, they have COVID over there, man. They don't got shit. You know what I mean? They don't got nothing. It's gonna take about 2 or 3 months for me to get enough, you know, supplies, unless donations come better, and we can do the difference. I'm looking to maybe get $1,000 up there, and then we'll take it all up there and distribute it to the real bad places. You know, recap on Pedro Anthrax. He's a really famous Anthrax. He saved the boss's kid. He sacrificed. Make sure the boss made it home the way it's supposed to. He's got a corrido by Tito Torbellino. I always thought this man deserved a little video about him. I always heard stories about him from my cousin. Um, I'm not idolizing him or saying this is something good. This is just something so you guys know. At the end, he made the ultimate price. It's your boy OG Black, and I'm out.